welcome back to Morning Thailand. Taking a look at more reports here now. Yesterday, the court in Phetchaburi province has sentenced a police doctor. Police doctor Supat Lauhawatana. He was a former doctor at the Police General Hospital in Bangkok on the charges of stealing a vehicle, a pickup truck that belonged to a couple who had gone missing like 5 years ago. This particular doctor, Kun Supat Lauhawatana, has been on the front pages like a few years earlier. Kun Golf, if you have been in Thailand long enough, you would have remembered his name because in the year 2009, he was suspected of killing at least 4 people and burying their bodies on his property in the field in Phetchaburi. And he was arrested and taken for interrogation a few years earlier. Kun Supat Lauhawatana has been accused of killing a local couple there. Kun Samat Numchui and Kun Orasa Gertsap, his wife, both aged 27, who had gone missing along with their Toyota pickup truck in June 2009 after reports said that these couple have been in an argument with Dr. Supat, and the truck was found later on September the 15th at the Nonthaburi house belonging to Dr. Supat's mother, leading to the discovery of a skeleton remains of 3 bodies on Kun Supat's property in Phetchaburi's Thayang district a few years afterwards. And at that time, a Burmese man who worked in the pineapple field belonging to Dr. Supat said that the doctor has been torturing him and also another workers there very brutally. He had forced some of the workers to to swallow the pesticide for as a punishment. So
that is scary.
Yes, right. So yesterday, the court had sentenced him and also his wife, Kun Vilasa Janthon Banchom, the second defendant in the case. The same sentence, however, they had reduced the sentences to 3 years and 4 months, citing that her useful testimony to police investigators. However, this case, they had not been able to identify the DNA of the 4 skeletons that had been found in the plantations. So that's the reason why Dr. Supat still escaped from the murder case. This 5-year sentences was just for the case of car stealing, according to the Toyota pickup truck that had been found in his property. So I believe that the investigation is still going on, and we still have to hear more of the development here because the father of the victim, Kun Samat, he tried to keep this case going on because he believed that police doctor Supat is a senior police officer. So he had fear that the police would not be
off the hook. Yeah. Sometimes it does happen here in Thailand. What can I say? Sad, isn't it? But true. A lot of the cases, when we start reading, you kind of know which way it's going, and it is sad. It's not to say that we're proud of it. We're not proud of it, but sometimes we report about the crime and such, or even hit and run cases, or a brutally murdered cases that seems to involve high-profile people. Sometimes they either, having a probation time instead of getting jail term right away, or they just disappear from the news altogether.
Sad case.
All right, moving on to another case, and hopefully this time, this particular issue will not be off the front pages and off the measures. Talking about the transport ministry that came up with measures in terms of trying to make sure that all buses have safety belts, which you would think that, well, there should be one anyway. But if you get on the buses right here in Thailand, especially tour buses, you might have noticed that sometimes it seems to be missing safety belts, or a lot of people don't even use it at all. So at this point, they say that starting today, the measures will be tightened. And what they are trying to do is to make sure that 800 of the tour buses will have safety belt on all the seats. The Deputy Minister of Transport Ministry, Kun Pong Chiwanan, has came out yesterday and talked about this particular project, saying that they are trying their best to make sure that the safety belts will be installed in all the seats so that to keep the passengers safe in terms of if there's any car crash and such, at least you will not be thrown off the bus. And they say that there should also be the instruction just like that you see on the airplanes, giving the directions of in case of emergency where to go and such, as well as the benefits of putting on safety belt. Now, in some of the tour buses company that actually a little bit more, I would say, expensive than the regular ones, they would have, excuse me, the bus hostess in the tour bus as well.
This is one of the measures that the government, it's very good. In some way that the government is trying to pay attention to the issue in order to reduce the rate of death and injuries
Most
in
definitely.
the accident. However, what is more concerning is how much,
Cooperation they will
cooperation, yes, of course.
That's true, and how secured it would get. That's true. And there was a talk about interviewing what they call a bus hostess. So instead of the stewardess on the airplane, this is a bus hostess. She said that she likes the fact that this measures is in place because it gives her a peace of mind in terms of make sure that the passenger will be safe. Plus, there are also already a lot of safety measures on the bus anyway. For example, there were exit signs and such located for all the passengers to be seen, and the different directions and different methods of where you can escape, and in case the door stuck, what you can do. Apparently, in some of the buses, they already provide that. And they say at this point, they are hoping that the buses or tour buses that registered since April the 1st of this year should come with safety belt on all the seats already, and they will make sure, the transport ministry will make sure that the regulations will be strictly enforced. So that means that they will go to different tour buses companies and make sure that they do have safety belt. But I think another thing that we have to promote is the awareness, telling the passenger to put them on. Because don't forget, Kunfai, even
on the
private
plane.
Cars, even private cars,
right.
we don't get in a habit. A lot of Thai people still not in a habit of putting on seatbelt at all.
If you're not saying police officer standing
It's true.
right in a
You
way.
just like start to put your belt on, but that should not be the only reason you have a safety belt on. All right.
Okay, now moving to upcountry on the flood situation, which seems to be worsened in line with the impacts of some of the monsoon, the storm that has been coming ashore. Here there was a Nari storm and also the Wipa storm. However, the Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation has reported that 17 provinces, so you have to brace yourself for the impacts of the Nari storm. These 17 provinces include นครราชสีมา ชัยภูมิ สุรินทร์ บุรีรัมย์ ขอนแก่น มหาสารคาม ร้อยเอ็ด กาฬสินธุ์ สกลนคร นครพนม มุกดาหาร อุบลราชธานี อำนาจเจริญ ศรีสะเกษ ยโสธร หนองคาย and บึงกาฬ I'm sorry, I have to report all of this. This is quite long. However, these are the provinces in the northeastern part of the country which have to brace yourself for the impact of Nari, because it will cause some of the heavy downpours and also high winds in the area. And about the flood situation in the provinces, the department said that Now the situation has already eased. Only 22 provinces are now battling with the flood situation. And yesterday, the Prime Minister Kun Yingluck Shinawatra, together with Kun Plot Prasop Suratsawadi, Deputy Prime Minister, and Kun General Prayut Chan-o-cha, the Army Chief, had traveled to the provinces that had been affected very critically by the inundation. They had traveled to Ban Sang district of Prachinburi province and get a brief on the situation there. And local authorities said that the situation in Pajantakham, Sri Mahapot, Mueang and Sri Mahosot had already gone better. Only in Ban Sang that the situation is still remaining serious there.
I heard that in some spot as high as 3 meter. That's ridiculous. 3 meter high flood. That's just not a good place at all.
And in many places, the water level has gone higher than the critical level. And during this trip, the Prime Minister has already thanked the locals and also related agencies for helping with the situation, and she insists that the government has already provided help and assistance for the locals during and after the situation has already improved. And later on, they had traveled to Bang Kla district in Chachoengsao province, which has been affected by the inundation as well. The Prime Minister had even cooked food, showed her cooking skill for the locals. She made a kaprao gai, the chicken meat with the sweet basil leaves that has been on the news
famous
lately.
dish
To the flood-affected residents, and also handed out the relief items and necessity for flood-affected locals. The situation in Bangkok province yesterday, Kun Sukumphan Baripat, the Bangkok governor, had inspected the situation along the Chao Phraya River in Sapan Put area of Pranakon side of Bangkok, and he said that water level is expected to increase during this week around today to tomorrow, 15 to the 16. However, the BMA, Bangkok Metropolitan Administration Authority, have already prepared the measures and also the devices to tackle with the increasing water level. And also he had order authority to open up the sluice gates in order to release water from neighboring provinces to Chao Phraya River in order to ease the situation of the people who live in the flood-affected areas.
But that's the thing, like we can only do so much, because don't forget, a lot of river, the water level has gone up pretty high. Therefore, that means that to add more water release into the area, we might get the effect of spillover, or just not going to go back anyway. There's a lot of talk about in terms of a lot of people are concerned or even get upset with the fact that there are a lot of dikes that were just newly built, especially in Prachinburi, to try to channel the water away, and it ended up, instead of spreading and just spread out naturally so that it's not going to be as high, you ended up with some dry land, but the other part is, have to suffer with the high water level. And I think that was one of the cases too. In 2011, that's what happened, because around my house, it was like a big wall. And when it burst the bank, that wasn't a good sign. More water actually came in than you expected. So I'm not quite sure how they're gonna solve this particular problem at this point, but.
And just get you brief up with another thread with the flood situation here. People in Satkhel province has been reporting of spotting a crocodile, and they had arrested 3 of them already. They said that they were released.
I'm pretty sure there are more than 3.
They were crossing the border, from Cambodia. There's a crocodile farm in
this is a
another
refugee
side.
Crocodile? That is just crazy. All right. Interesting. So it's not only we have to beware of the Thai crocodiles, apparently Cambodian crocodiles as well. So people in the border, be very, very careful. And you can only hear news like this from Thailand, seriously. Beware of crocodiles during floods. Okay, let's have the last news for this particular break. I have updates. If you might overheard
Yeah.
from your friends about a lot of arguments and concern raised in terms of there's a talk that Thai dance will be taken out of school curriculum.
Yeah.
And obviously Thai dance, you probably have to take Thai dance before I do as well. It's one of the classes that we have to take in school. However, there seems to be in the social media a lot of rumors that came up saying that it will be taken off the school curriculum. And this create quite a bit of a concerns, as well as a lot of the actors and actresses that obviously are feeling very strongly about this has came out and voiced their concerns. And at this point, it just creates so much stir that finally Kun Chatarun Chaisang, the Minister of Education Ministry, has to come out and say, calm down, people. I haven't
That's
heard.
not true.
I haven't heard of such thing. That's what he said. So at this point, he said that they will be looking into this particular case in terms of whether or not this is actually will be true. He said that the only thing was that they would change the grouping of all the
So
classes.
the change is true, right?
Yeah.
But I heard that the institution that proposed this particular idea said that they would put the Thai dances in the art category.
Yeah. So it just Kun Chatarun said that they're not taking it out altogether. So everyone should just calm down a little. However, they say that it used to be 8 groups altogether in terms of trying to group all the different classes and subjects into groups. But this time they narrow it down to 6, and the Thai dance actually is in social studies, actually, social studies and humanities. This will be, however, the concern that has been raised by the other side, meaning for all the teachers and such, they say that it's true, it hasn't been taken out, but in the level of elementary only, but in the level in terms of the high school and junior high, it just became a selection class. It's no longer a required class. It used to be required. I know that I have to take dance class. Like there's no argument out of that. So one of the concern is that we are trying to promote Thai culture, and this is one of the most unique traditions or art form that you can actually have to identify yourself as being Thai, and to taking that out or just say that it's just an option, you don't have to take it, that would create a little bit of a problem later on, because there are art schools that focus mainly on this in the university level as well. And they say that, well, what are they going to do with those university level?
Seriously, this is the only way that can assure us that Thai students have learned, and also the heritage and the culture heritage has been passed down to younger generation.
So at this point, I think that a lot more people are very, very concerned in terms of whether or not this is going to be a good move from the education ministry. And of course, Kun Jim will come and talk to us in the last break of this particular program for today, and she will talk a little bit more about this, just giving you updates in terms of what exactly has been ongoing with this case.
And with that, taking a short break for now. Up next, there's a situation from the Urupong intersection where the anti-government protesters have been camping out for several days now, and also Kun Gop had an update on the cabinet meeting yesterday, so please stay tuned.